Hey folks, I want to take some time today to look at taking subclasses and features and creating new ones, right? In particular, in this case, I want to take the ones from Deep Magic and come up with, how to put them into Foundry, right? Both to try and do it manually as well as the import I did before using Deep Magic 1 or 2 to kind of clean up what you get from Deep Magic and go from there, right? So with that, just a couple of things, and I mentioned this at the end of last time. Over here, you can see that I created a new module, right? This is my module. I called it DM for Deep Magic, obviously, converted to TOV. So in here, I created, like I showed, I believe before, compendiums for what I exported, imported in from Deep Magic. I have some equipment that I threw in there, the spells that I pulled in here, um, as well. I should probably separate them into Deep Magic 1 and 2 later. And then over here, character options. So this is a third one that I've created. And what I want to do is I want to the ones in here, the DM classes, is basically the dump that I did last time from taking Deep Magic 1 and 2 and pulling them into Foundry, and they're somewhere to put them, right? And as I edit these things, I'm going to put them into the character options, one at the bottom. So the DM classes is the raw stuff from Deep Magic 1 and 2. Character options is what I've had to clean up and convert from moving to TOV. So with that, let's take a look. And I've closed this. And the reason why I created this, just to reiterate from before, is I want to be able to whatever work I do in this game world in a few minutes, I want to be able to pick that up and put that into other Tales of the Valiant adventures. So that way I don't have to do this every time, right? You do it once, it's a module that you attach just like all the other modules here. All right, let's get started. So I want to open up my Black Flag, you know, area, test. I guess I'll call it test, but basically just kind of a dummy world where I can do my work and try and fiddle around with stuff. There is one thing that I wanted to show first for 5-10 minutes, and partially to show you how Foundry works behind the curtain, and also to hopefully give some encouragement that if you go down this path, that you will find that it's not as daunting as it looks. If you've been around anyone who's worked with Foundry for any period of time, one thing you hear from them is that everything is an item. And they really do mean that literally. And I want to show this for a second. And then I'll circle back and, like I said, why this might give you confidence. So if you have Foundry up and you hit F12, your mileage might vary on the look, but you're going to get something that looks like this. And this is the debugger for Foundry, we'll say. And you can type commands in this and see what's going on in Foundry. You'll see errors and stuff like that. I'm not going to write a whole lot of code, but I am going to show you something briefly. And you don't have to know this, but I want to show you anyway. If you at the bottom here, and I'm going to go here for a second, and there are uh, some characters that I've intelligently created called Barbarian, Cleric, Ranger, Sorcerer. Right, that's the name of their character. I want to dig into the Cleric one just for a minute. If I go game, if you type game dot actors, and you can see as you type, it will have a pop-up box to give you the options. Dot get name, open paren, single quote, cleric, which is the name of our character, close single quote, close paren, and hit enter, you'll get something that looks like this, right? And you have this gobbledygook with a little arrow here. I'm going to click on that black arrow. So and this is diving in to the data that's in that cleric character, his level, his uh, equipment, and everything else that goes with it, right? I've gone through this a little bit when I had to work on the PDF export that I did some week or two ago. But I want to come over here and you'll see something here that says items. Again with the little black arrow. And if I click on this, you'll see a list of all the items that this character happens to have. And there's 55 of them. 55. So let's just do, I'm just going to randomly click at some and show you something here. Let's click on 0. So hey, his lineage, what we used to call race back in the 1E days, is a dwarf. So this character, being a dwarf, is an item, right? As well as his heritage here happens to be an item. Just clicking some other stuff, I don't know. Oh, I'm good luck here. His class of cleric is an item. Here is a spell, guiding bolt is an item. Here's another spell, command, which is an item. His weapon, mace, is an item, and so forth, right? Yeah, here's another spell, shield of faith. Why do you care? Why am I showing this? I'm trying to show this because I want to show that literally everything on the character, as I said, is an item. So if you go down this path, what it means is that for the majority of these, for pretty much all this stuff, it's pretty much all the same screens and the same syntax and the same kind of setup for pretty much all of this. And you'll see some of that as we look, right? If you look, when you start digging around, you look at what a spell looks like and what a lineage looks like, or a feature looks like. Dang it, they're the same screens. They're the same things. They're identical. You're just but so if you start learning how to do features at the same time, that's how you would do magic items. And that's how you would do spells. They all look the same. So once you get into it, that will speed up, learning the system as a whole. As well as if you're trying to cheat, so to speak, and I love to cheat, right? If you're trying to create say a lineage, right? Not lineage, I'm sorry, but feature. Thank you. If you try to use a feature which is suspiciously similar to a spell you can just bring up the spell on one side and bring up what you're trying to create on the other side and do some copy paste, right? Do copy the work that the others have done before you that you paid good money for and use that as the template to make your own stuff or to fix the stuff that has been imported over from other 5e systems or material. That's why I wanted to show this. So keep this in mind, and I'll do some of this as I look around. I'll show you some example. Um, yeah, it's just the same thing over and over again. So once you learn it, you can use this in so many places because learning how to make a subclass and a spell and weapon, they're all the same. All right, let's get cracking. All right, so now that I've shown that, let's take a look at um, how to convert one of these, right? So one of the ones I've had to do I'm in the right spot. I am not. Hold on one second. Let me get the right book. I was going to do that later. I grabbed the wrong book though for this. I didn't grab the Castles and Crowns. All right, there we go. One of the ones I had to do recently for the adventure I'm on is Jest, right? So this was built with Tales of the Valiant in mind, obviously. So even though I have the conversion document up over here on the second tab, I don't need to use it for this one. So it is literally just a matter of trying to pull this text out and grab it, right? And put it into the system, right? Move this over for a second. So I've done that once, but I'm going to do it again just for giggles, right? So if I come over here for a second, so I'm when you build these, when they're when you're building, at least in this case, a and basically a subclass. So in the subclass, you're going to have a whole bunch of different abilities, right? Features. When you do this, you're going to go bottom up. So build the features first, and then make the subclass. And you'll see why in a second. So let's do the first one. Let's do the first one here is called Marshall Tumbler. So again, everything's an item. So if you're going to create it on the item screen. It's just another item. So one here is called Marshall Tumbler, and it's going to be a feature. There it is. And I want to unlock this so I can edit this darn thing. And this is going to be a class feature for the Bard and level 3. And I'm just going to do something stupid and just simply grab all this. Right. Let's delete this. I'm just going to take out some of the carriage returns here that kind of weird out the spacing. And I'm going to save it. Now, you can stop here and say I'm done, right? These other screens here, the details and the advancements and effects, you can fill those out. You don't have to, right? You really don't have to. Um, it will help automate Foundry, don't get me wrong, right? But as a DM, what do I really care about? I want to make sure the darn thing's on the person's character sheet more than anything else. I want them to know it's there, right? So you could stop here. And on the character sheet, under Marshall Tumbler as an ability, they will see this text. And then when they use it, they'll say, yeah, I'm going to use Marshall Tumbler. And I get my speed increased by 5 times the number rolled, blah, blah, blah. Sure. And then you could be done. Um, we'll do a little bit more than that, but you'll see what I did here for things in a second. So that's creating one manually, right? It will at least be on their character sheet. Now I can rinse and repeat this, right? I could sit here and rinse and repeats for the rest of this stuff. I think for the chart I would probably end up maybe doing a screenshot, but it's all good. Um, how do you create a subclass? Just to show you the other piece of this. Well, it's an item, so create an item. It's going to be a subclass. It's going to be called Jest. And as you can see, you have things for level 3, 7, 5, 11. There's little spots for it. I'm going to unlock this so that I can edit it. And the class this is for is Bard. And you could drop in other stuff if you really wanted to. But I'm going to edit the level 3 features because Marshall Tumbler is a level 3 feature. I'm going to drag and drop Marshall Tumbler into here. And I am done. I am done. So at this point, if I would create a new character, when you get to the part where you need to uh, say what subclass the character is going to be, Jest is not going to show up as an option on the automated screens. But you can certainly, when you get to that point, take the Jest ability and just drag and drop it onto the character sheet, and it will take it. And then all this is doing is giving these features when the character hits that level, and those just magically appear on the character sheet. It's literally like automatically giving somebody an item at a certain level. That's it. You can go and you can do this for whatever you want. Now, I'm going to try and do something different, right? So I've done that. That's to show you how to do it manually, and you can do all that cut and paste. And we can certainly dive in to doing some of this stuff manually. I might even show some of that, right? So when I did this originally, go into here, right? So this is, it says here, DMV converted TOV. So remember at the beginning of this video, I showed I created that module, right? So this is one of the compendiums in the module that I mentioned. And this has my finished data, but I'm going to unfinish it and refinish it in a second. So you can see here for Jest, I did manually create these. Okay. And let's look at Marshall Tumbler. So you can see I did the same thing here. You could see I'm showing it's a class feature and blah, blah, blah. And I could show here for Marshall Tumbler, if I bring back the text, well, let me keep it on here, right? Basically, you were using a bonus action to disengage. Okay, cool. Uh, Sounds suspiciously like a rogue ability, doesn't it? Yes, it does. So what I decided to do later is I went to Player's Guide and I went into the classes for the Player's Guide and I looked up Rogue and I looked up features and I said, oh, kind of feels like cunning action. Okay, there it is. So the wording is different here, but all I did was go under details and I said, oh, well, on this here for a rogue, this is what it has for the activities. And I can look at the activities and I can see how they named it and what check boxes they checked and flagged here as a bonus action and it's instantaneous. Under consumption, it's blank. Under target, it's blank. Under effect, it's blank. Okay, great. So what did I do for Marshall Tumbler? I did the exact same thing. I just went in and said, okay, well, this is disengage in this and bonus action instantaneous. And did I fill it out right? Okay, yes, I did. And then the rest I left in the same spot, and I was done. Ta-da! So you can see here that the one on the right here, or the one from the Rogue, is what the Foundry folks set up for the Rogue, and over on the other side is what I set up for the Jest. And the only thing I didn't do originally was to have this activities so that it would like flag them for a bonus action. Okay, well, I just did a little copy paste and I learned a little bit more and continue to rinse and repeat. Now, out of curiosity, just for giggles, I'm going to I can close this. Here's the one for thief. Here's the one that I did. let's go back into here under, what am I doing? Uh, classes, DM classes. So this is the dump I did of all of these subclasses and abilities that came out of Deep Magic 1 and 2. So these things should be there. So let's take a look at Martial Tumbler. And I'll be honest, I haven't looked at this yet. So I'm kind of curious to see how well. Oh, is it there? Oh, it wouldn't be Martial Tumbler on this because this one isn't in the DM's guide. Let's get rid of this. Let's not use Jest. Let's go into Word Singers, right? Because this one is in Deep Magic 1. This is another bar tradition. There we go. So you can now this one you're going to need your conversion from Deep Magic because the levels aren't going to match between what's written in this text. They do it at different levels in 5e versus TOV. So here you could say, all right, inspire greatness. I got all this fun stuff, right? If I look here, let's see what they did. So inspire greatness. This is what I wrote. So again, I just copy and pasted out of the text and chucked it in here. And you can see here, I made inspire greatness a third level advancement, and it will show up on the character sheet. And I didn't do. Oh, I did use. I lied. What did I do here? I said use activation bonus action. So I think what I did is I did the exact same thing. This is also a bonus action. So again, and here the range is 60 feet. So I added that in. So this is just simply me copying almost exactly what I did for the Jest and the Rogue and said, okay, well, I need to show this up as a bonus action. So I went into here under time, right? I created something here basically calling it use. This is what you're going to click when you use it. And it's going to burn a bonus action and yada, yada, yada. And the target's got to be within 60 feet. So I put that in there for the range. And that's great. So out of curiosity, and again, I haven't looked at this, inspire greatness. So you can see here, is this the same inspire greatness? Let's see, third level, charisma modifier, eighth level. Additionally, yeah, it's all the same text. It looks like even though they did it, worded it differently than me. Some of these links are broken, right? Because these were originally linking back to something in the original module that Cobalt Press sold to me. And as I pulled it over, that link is broken. So if I wanted to, if I want to get fancy here, if I click on this, it's not going to do anything. Um, Theoretically, if I decided I wanted to edit this, I could go and try and make that link work, right? Um, Yada, yada, yada. So let's see, what did it do? So it also had use. Ooh, it has a maximum formula of 1, which is different than what I did. So, so it normally takes. So this is probably this here. You use a bonus action to cast that spell. You know that normally takes 1 action to cast. Is that what this is? Probably. Limit uses. So it's probably only a once a day thing. Is that true? Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Saving throws, ally. You can use this feature once at third level, twice at eighth level, and 3 times at whatever level. Okay, so that's why it's limiting it to once, because it's only 1 time. I'd be kind of curious, so let's try and do this. If I went here for a second and I said unlock DM classes so I could edit the darn thing, and then this, right, you can see that it has in here that you can put in a recovery profile. You could have it 1, long rest, recover all uses. and it flags in here, less like I did more or less, this active effect when you're using it. So it's pretty close. It brought in the PDF, not the PDF, but the GIF here that kind of shows what it looks like. And I'm getting closer to it, right? Again, in the end, all you need is the text. It's just a matter of how much you want to automate with the system. You can see here, here's another thing that's broken. It's fine. So, yeah, this I could, and I probably will, spend the time to just simply, instead of creating my own here, if you bought the Deep Magic 1 and 2 module from before, right, you could go and try to fix this. Now, if I go here, I'm kind of curious now, see how this turned out. Right, here is the one that ported over. And you could see it ported over kind of sort of well. You could decide as to try and edit some of this, right? Um, it did. Oh, should I be impressed? No, I shouldn't be. I don't think I should be. Yeah, they get it at third, sixth. Okay, so it didn't go over. So from if you ever converted anything, right? Boop, 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 doo. You need to. Right. So you need to change the level at certain things happening, right? So, oh, it did it? It did. Wait, did I not do it? No, I'm confused. So this is deep magic. It is 3, 6, um, 14. 3, 6, 14. Yeah, okay. So, and it's supposed to be for Bard. Uh, 3, 6, 14 should be adjusted to um, adjust 6 and 14 to 7th and 15th. So theoretically, I should be going in here for this guy here. I took it too literally from the text. That's why I figured it out, right? I would have to go in here. Can I edit this? This is going to edit this. I want this now to be 7, right? And 14 should be 15, I said, right? And now this is adjusted for this, right? Now I could chuck the work I did here, and I might do that, and just use what I got over from Deep Magic. But I would have to do a few adjustments, right? Just like I showed you a second ago with the singer here, I'd have to go into this and basically edit this, and edit this to be 7 and 15. And you'll notice here I added an 11, and that's from the conversion guide, right, from Cobalt Press, which says, hey, you got to make something up for level 11. If you don't know what to do, here, I'll give you something. And it gave me this thing, Flowing Inspiration. So I just took that. So hopefully here you're seeing that there's a couple ways to be doing this, right? You could just lift text out of the PDFs and plopping them in. You can continue to edit some of this stuff, right? And oh, by the way, let's just do this for the sake of fun. Let me look at this. So I brought up Braggart just for a second. Let me go into Player's Guide. Let's grab a spell. I don't know. Animal Friendship. Look familiar? Right? A little different, right? I mean, here you have the details for, it looks a little different, right? There's more things here with the spell than it is here. Like it has uses recovery, it has limited uses, it has activities. Spells have a few things like components, area effects. There's a few new boxes, but it looks very much the same, right? Because everything's an item, right? So there's going to be some minor differences, some things that other items could have that other items can't have, but it's going to have a very similar look and feel. And as you do more of these, you're going to get better. You're going to learn where to put these things in. Again, go into, assuming you paid for hopefully at least the player's guide, or maybe, here's the spells or the monsters as well, right? You can use certain things in there, to copy and paste other things to make it all flow. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps that you can pretty easily create your own class subclasses and your own features, as well as expand that into maybe spells and whatever. I keep stumbling because I've been playing 5e and 1e too long, so it's like I have to constantly do conversions on what term I should be using for TOV versus 5e versus my youth in 1e. So excuse my occasional pauses, but yeah, start playing around with this, and you should be able to do this, right? If you've purchased it, then I mean it should be really easy to pick up from my previous video what I did here and make it work. So one of my next videos coming on is I really want to see how, it's already been 30 minutes, so I mean, how long do I want to ramble on? I really want to start looking at the Thurge and the Witch. And as you can see here, it converted things over. But how does that work with everything else? Like, is this going to work with? Yeah, this is going to be interesting. All right, I got to put in the magic sources. We'll have to play with this and figure out how to get Thurge and the Witch to fully work from Deep Magic 1 and 2, maybe based on what I yanked over from Deep Magic, and see how well we can create a character. But I think that's the next step, or at least, to try and salvage what I purchased from the 5e module to try and make sure it moves forward in the TOV. So that's it. Hope you all have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.